In a hyper-accelerated digital landscape where data rows refresh in milliseconds, the luxury of deliberate, weeks-long research has effectively disappeared. This creates a dangerous friction. Move too fast and you risk a fatal error. Move too slow and the opportunity is gone before you can act. The J. Paul Getty Museum faced this exact tension when they spent millions on a rare Greek statue. To ensure they weren't being conned, their legal and scientific teams spent months exhaustively cross-referencing carbon dating results and paper trails. But when independent art experts first saw the statue, they reached a conclusion in 2 seconds. They felt a physical sense of repulsion, an immediate signal that something was wrong. Later, it was proven that the statue was indeed a fake, meaning a few seconds of intuition outperformed months of scientific data. This is thin slicing. Your brain functions as an adaptive computer, continuously processing your entire history of wins and losses to create a background algorithm that compresses complex patterns into instant snapshots. The difficulty is that this processing happens entirely out of sight. We experience the final result, but we can't see the math. This often leads us to invent logical-sounding stories to explain our gut feelings after the fact, even when we don't actually know why we made the choice. Relying on this internal system isn't magic, it's an advanced form of biological data processing. However, even the best algorithms fail when they are fed corrupted inputs. The most common way we corrupt our own decision-making is by following the corporate myth that more information always leads to a better result. At Cook County Hospital, doctors treating potential heart attack victims used to spend hours digging through patient histories, weights, and dozens of tests. But the more information they gathered, the more their diagnostic accuracy suffered. This is data smog. When overwhelmed with non-essential variables, the subconscious processor begins to choke on the noise. To solve this, the hospital moved to a stripped-down model. Doctors were told to ignore the background noise and focus on just 3 specific physiological patterns. Once the excess data was muted, the accuracy of heart attack diagnoses skyrocketed. Clarity in high-stakes environments comes from ruthlessly eliminating metrics that don't actually move the needle. Speed has a price. Because the thin slicing process is so rapid, it is incredibly vulnerable to implicit biases and social stereotypes. This is the Warren Harding error. Harding was one of the most incompetent leaders in American history, yet he was elected because he looked exactly like what voters imagined a perfect president should be. His physical appearance hijacked their internal pattern recognition. This glitch persists in modern business. Tests at car dealerships showed that salesmen often gave significantly higher price quotes to women and minorities, ignoring the customer's actual financial status in favor of surface-level visual cues. In these moments, the brain prioritizes immediate social garbage over objective reality, resulting in a completely broken decision. Unchecked intuition can be a liability. What feels like a profound gut instinct is often just legacy code installed by societal prejudice. Since we can't see the internal math of our subconscious and we can't manually delete our biases, we must change how we interact with information. Symphony orchestras once struggled with a massive gender gap, fueled by a systemic bias that women lacked the physical power to match male musicians. They fixed this by installing a blind audition. By placing a screen between judges and performers, I blocked visual data, processing only pure audio. With aesthetic noise removed, women selected for orchestras surged by 500%. You can apply this same engineering to your own workflows. When hiring, use blind technical tests rather than relying on the polish of a face-to-face interview. When evaluating a new business asset, mute the marketing materials and focus strictly on the raw revenue and performance data. Mastery comes from architecting an environment that starves your biases, filters the data smog, and feeds your subconscious only the purest signals.